Well, so many of you will recognize that theme song from the hit show I Dream of Jeannie, and the star of that show, Barbara Eden, is on the MPW Digital TV Celebrity Hotline right now. Hello, Barbara. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good. Welcome to the great state of Iowa. It's good to have you on the phone. I have been a fan of yours for a while, and I have to tell you, Barbara, so many people that listen to this radio show are excited that you are on the air. So welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you, thank you.
So, okay, we got to talk about, we're going to see you tomorrow on Oprah, Where Are They Now?, which is going to air at 9 o'clock Central for us on OWN. And I wonder, so did they approach you to be on this special or what, Barbara? How did that work?
Well, yes, they did.
Sure.
They approached, my manager, and came to my house, and we had a lovely talk.
Did you find that the conversation was something that, like, did any of it surprise you? And obviously we'll see it tomorrow. I don't want to give it away. But how much did they go over the career or, you know, things from the past, things that you have going on, the book? Is it a wide-ranging discussion?
They hit all the major points.
It's always good to be prepared, especially when you're going to sit.
Of everything.
Right, when you're going to sit down with someone like yourself, you got to have some notes. Right. I mean, that's just how you have to do it. So I want to go back to I Dream of Jeannie, and when that show started and it first aired, at the time when you're making a show like that, Barbara, did you get the sense that it would not only become a hit, but that it would really become beloved by so many people for so many years?
No, I don't think any of us had any idea that it would be that popular or would be still on the air, now. You must understand, most of us, and that was me also, were doing other things at the time. I was appearing in Vegas. I was doing guest shots. I was working with Bob Hope. And so it was one of many, many things. You don't think about that. It's so subjective. You just keep working. And I'm so happy that she's still around. She's easy to live with. I like her.
139 episodes. You know, there's some television shows that they'll maybe get 4, 5, or 6 episodes, and then you never see it again. So as I Dream of Jeannie progressed, did things like the production budget increase? Because now, Barbara, it seems like a lot of these TV shows that have success and people that I've talked to that appear on them, they describe the set as almost like being on the set of a movie because there's so much production value.
Well, of course, there had to be production value for Jeannie because of the magic and the special effects. And of course, then we didn't have the wealth of mechanical things, that they have now. I mean, the magic can be done so much easier now, but we worked pretty hard at it.
I was going to say,
of course, I blinked.
Right, you blinked. It was a lot more practical magic on I Dream of Jeannie. If they did that in 2016, it would all be like computer-generated stuff, right?
Correct, yeah.
No, I think that's awesome. I mean, you guys really had to put a lot of time and work into it. And then, the show in syndication, I think it was so well done. And like, I have a 4-year-old son, and he's starting to see some of the older shows that maybe I watched growing up, I Dream of Jeannie included. And I think that even for his generation, that they'll be able to appreciate that show. Because, it does have that magic, and but also the humor that was in that. My goodness, I mean, they wrote that so well, didn't they? I wonder, did you have input when it came to writing some of the dialogue on the show?
Well, the dialogue, we could bend it, Jeannie, not as much as the guys, because they were current, and she was 2,000 years old. So my dialogue was sometimes archaic. But it was, Sidney Sheldon was absolutely a genius. It was his idea. He was in charge. He ran the show, of course. He owned it. And I think we were so lucky to have him. I didn't, as far as production was concerned and writing and things, that wasn't my job. My job was to act. And I liked her. I liked the character he had written. So I had a good time.
Well, obviously it worked out with the success that you had. When you wrote your book, Barbara, did you find that, because obviously you've acted and you've done a variety of things, but how did writing come to you? Was it something that once you started to give it some time, it happened naturally, or what was your process like?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't natural at all.
Sure.
And I had help. But the help I received mainly, Wendy Lee helped me write it, and she really encouraged me to open up and tell people things that I probably wouldn't have. I'm kind of private. You know, I really think that my job is my job, my home life is my home life, but sometimes you owe it to your audience to let them in, to take a little peek, and that's what we did, and she was a big part of that. Could
you imagine if, and I know that obviously the press was certainly prevalent during the run of I Dream of Jeannie, but with the paparazzi that we have today, because you guys probably enjoyed a little bit more privacy than today's stars did. Any thoughts on paparazzi? Have you encountered them personally? Are they nice to you?
Oh, they're great. They're great. They're lovely. I think probably because I have tenure. I would say that I say that instead of old. I don't use the O word, but they're just wonderful. And another thing, I have noticed that I will go to some of the Comic Cons that appear there, and my fans are some of the nicest, politest people in the whole world. Even when they ask for a photo or they're doing something they know they ought not to be doing.
Sure.
All I have to do is say, "Oh, come on, you don't do that," and they back off. Even TMZ has been just lovely.
That's good to hear. I wondered about that. And I have
They're
to
kind of fun, actually.
Yeah.
They have a good sense of humor,
Right, as long as the camera is not directly in your face, right? Like give me a little space. When you encounter female fans, because playing that role in 65 and then the years to follow, I mean, Jeannie was essentially the star of the show, I would say, and maybe at that time there weren't too many female leads, so I have to imagine that you inspired generations of actresses to not be afraid to audition for roles. So do you like hearing stories about that from people that you've inspired?
I love it. Of course, I love it. I love it when you mean young actresses in particular.
Yes.
You're talking about. Sure. They of course, I'm not sure it's because of Jeannie. Young actresses are usually thinking of your body of work.
Right.
And technique and all that. All those things the audience isn't interested in. And shouldn't be. That's the other side of the door,
Right. Well,
but we have a lot of young girls in the audience.
Sure.
That are that I think have been empowered by that fact that there was a woman who had all kinds of things she could do, even though it was magic.
Right.
They could make their own magic.
Well, I tell you what, Barbara, I think that the work that you've done and continue to do is wonderful, and I'm excited personally to watch Oprah, Where Are They Now?, which is airing again tomorrow night, Saturday night at 9 o'clock Central for us on OWN. I want to thank you for your time. I hope you have a great weekend, and don't be a stranger to folks in the great state of Iowa. We'd love to host you at some point.
Thank you. I'd love to be there, Tony.
Have a great weekend, Barbara. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.